Welcome to the latest edition of the DBS webinar series, Insurance Insight, designed to give you the tools and information you need as a financial professional. Sit back as we tackle the hottest topics in life insurance, breaking industry news, and leading sales ideas to help you better understand the products and services that will help you help your clients. Now, here's your host, Kurt Fossen, Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing.
Hello, and welcome again to another edition of Insurance Insight. My name is Kurt Fossen, Executive Vice President here at DBS, and I'm glad you took time to join us today. Today's topic is going to be about the business market, and I'm pleased to have Corey Cox from Principal Financial joining us today to share some what I think are very timely insights into the business owner's mindset, really what's important to them, and to help you better understand the business environment today and where you can find opportunities and subsequently find success selling life insurance in the business marketplace. Corey, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kurt.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's get started, Corey. DBS, working with Principal over the years, we know that you've developed a strength in the business market. I'd like to talk specifically about your expertise and why you believe you're uniquely positioned in the marketplace.
Yeah, you bet, Kurt. So, what's unique about Principal is you don't just have DBS and their internal team as well as myself here at Principal. You also have our advanced solutions team. So from a pre-sale standpoint, right, our attorneys and CPAs. You have during sale expertise with our underwriting and new business teams, access to them directly. I would argue most importantly, though, is our post-sale service. So it doesn't end there, right? It's our business market administration team. That is important, and we'll touch more a little bit on why that's important later. But we can then see delineated on a screen what type of business plan you place, whether that's an entity owned by sell, a cross-purchase by sell, some type of deferred compensation plan. Again, we will touch on why that's important, but that's a big deal to not just you, the advisor, but also the client.
I look forward to learning more and talking more about that. It seems to me, from my days in private practice, that it's not an issue until it's an issue. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But as I look at it, it's obvious that Principal has made a commitment to really know and understand the business market very deeply. And the thing I've always really appreciated is the fact that you conduct a survey with actual business owners ongoing to better understand trends and opportunities in the business marketplace. Can you just take a moment to explain Principal's Business Owner Insight Survey?
You bet. Yep. So Dyneta does an interview, and we did an interview with them of over 1,000 business owners. So look, I could sit here and talk to you about it. Kirk could sit here and talk to you about it. But at the end of the day, who do we want to hear from? And that's the business owners. So we completed this early this year in January, and we've been doing this since 2008. And since 2008, it was every other year. But post-COVID, we've actually moved this to an annual thing because of how things constantly change within this market. So what it is, we're really giving, insights into these business owners and how and what they are prioritizing from a business perspective.
It really is the definition of voice of customer. I mean, we're truly hearing from the customer, not a think tank of people at a home office like I used to be in or at a BGA. These are the people that are really facing real problems every single day. Maybe you could share with us, a handful of the key findings that you saw in this year's survey.
You bet. Yeah. So the first one, and this has been number one since 2010, and I would argue it's not that surprising, is the business protection number. That is a top priority for these owners, and admittingly so, right? Because what happens if that business, anything happens, right? They want to be protected for both themselves, but also their key employees. And, a record 72% have been in the business now for 10 years or less. So that just shows that we're continuing to add additional business owners into this market, which just then creates more opportunity. Not just that, there's more than 6 in 10 who own a family business. Again, we're going to touch on a little bit more of that later, and we'll talk to the importance of that and why that's relevant and why that should be top of mind for you.
That is interesting. 60% own a family business. That's a big number. So let's dig a little bit deeper if we can. When we look at let's take employee benefits. What did you see as some of the key findings in the survey regarding that topic?
Yeah, you bet. So for the first time, employee feedback is number one influence in employer benefit decisions. So employers are listening to these key employees and what's important to them from a not just voluntary benefits standpoint, but also, again, that key employee retention, additional benefits for those quote unquote higher compensated key executives. So they're now from an owner perspective, are offering benefits at the highest level since 2008. So again, that just creates additional opportunities for everyone. And 6 in 10 want to offer key employee benefits. So they know that it's top of mind, but they also know that they need to offer more and want to offer more. So it's a great time to have that conversation with these business owners as to what's most important to them and how we at DBS and Principal can assist in those planning needs.
So for anybody out there that accidentally started multitasking, listening to the podcast or watching this broadcast, step back and hear what he just said. 6 in 10 want to offer more key employee benefits. If that doesn't scream opportunity, I don't know what does. I'm sure we'll get deeper into that, but that jumps off the page of that survey to me in a really big way. So it also talks about, we can look at owners, key employees, planning, all of that. Corey, what did you find here?
Yeah, so more stats for you here, but these are important numbers, so I don't want these to be overlooked. 7 in 10 have a succession plan to protect their business at the death of an owner. Now, this conversation couldn't be more relevant. Again, we're going to touch on what's referred to as the Connolly case here in a little bit, but I'm willing to bet here that number is going to climb, and you'll see why later. But 98% of these business owners have key employees. So I don't care if there's 100 employees or there's 10 employees. Right. There's a pretty large chance that they're going to have at least one key employee. And again, 46% want to offer more key employee benefits. So I can't stress it enough. Opportunity. There's opportunity there to have these conversations with business owners. The most important and most popular, succession strategy is gifting the business to the family. Just because you're gifting it to the family doesn't mean that you're set, right? We still need to have a plan in place to make sure that goes smoothly. And with that, the confidence in their succession planning is at its peak currently when this was taken, again, because of that Connolly decision, which I'm going to dive into, I promise you, but that's going to be even more at its peak from a succession planning standpoint. And last but not least, within this business owner insights is more owners say retirement is 11 or more years away. So how can we help these business owners not just make sure they retire comfortably, but make sure that business continues to run like a well-oiled machine? We have almost every solution you can imagine to help with those planning needs for you and the business owner.
So that's very interesting, Corey. So keeping in mind that business protection has been number one priority going back to, let's say, I think all the way back to like 2010, if I saw the information correctly. And the survey indicates the most popular and growing is succession strategy, giving the business to family members. Now, how have things changed with business owners in, say, the recent years?
Yeah, so these owners know that planning for their business is important. And many still need to take that next step to protect what matters most. So like you said, business protection is number one, but there's still more room for growth and to place these plans. And like you said, voluntary benefits have increased year over year, which is great, right? Taking care of those rank and file employees. But now we need to layer on some additional business protection needs. And that involves employee retention. And not just that, yeah, the succession planning, that's grown year over year. It was almost dead last in '08, and now it's, I believe, number 4 on the list. So it's climbing rapidly, and it's going to continue to grow as more and more is developed, and we dive into this Conley case, which we'll again touch on briefly.
Okay, so let's go through some of the solutions. Business protection, as we mentioned, is really the number one priority for business owners. Can we just go a little bit deeper and talk about that a bit, Corey?
So at the end of the day, we want to, help safeguard the business owner and the integrity of the revenues, the cash flow, the value of the business, right? So we have some solutions that we can utilize to help with that, like our valuation services and buy sell review. But within this business owner insights, owners have a plan in place, and higher numbers than ever with key person life, as well as disability insurance and even overhead expense insurance. That it's at the highest levels, but they have key person insurance in place. So it's a great time to review that and make sure it's up to date. So Principal can help calculate the value of this key person life insurance via our key person calculator. So it's a great conversation starter. Again, lean on DBS, lean on Principal to help navigate these waters and find a solution that fits best. But we have the resources to help you get that conversation started, because at the end of the day, I can't build that relationship with you or for you with that business owner, but I can help you with everything else. So if you have a solution, let us utilize some resources that we have here at Principal and DBS to help start that conversation. And then we can dive into that conversations from there.
Now, Corey, we didn't talk about this when we were preparing for this, but I just want to tell folks that at DBS, we actually also, how's the phrase go? We also try our own cooking, if you will. One of my very best friends from college ended up starting a very large multi-million-dollar business. And he asked me, probably 18, 20 months ago now, to help him with the things we're talking about. It was Principal's ability to step in and do the evaluation that you just talked about that helped him and his business partners to have the confidence to move forward. I can tell you that the professionalism that I saw, this is my best friend. I was his best man at his wedding. So you worry about, geez, what are you doing here? It was utmost professionalism, very, very well done. And he was able to take that to his CPA firm and his law firm that he worked with, and it was bulletproof. So for anybody that, sometimes I'm sure you listen to me on these videos and you think, wow, well, that's interesting. You should really try it sometime. We did, and it does work amazing. So kudos to you and the team. All right, let's shift back into what we were going to talk about. I just want to add that little personal commentary. Talk about key person just for a minute. That's going to be first and foremost in a lot of business owners' minds. You talked about the fact that it doesn't matter if you're a 10-person shop or a 110-person shop. So talk a little bit more about key person, if you would.
You bet. So that's the number 7 priority on this list, but it's one of the most common place with life insurance as well as disability insurance. So when looking at what benefits to offer these employees, affordability and ability to attract and retain key employees is number one consideration for these business owners right now. So Principal and again DBS can help plan to fit your business type and overall goals with funding options tailored to your needs. So this goes back to, yes, we have many solutions, but we can find the one that meets both your needs as well as these key employees' needs. So life insurance is most common, with 46% being that the amount of insurance placed there, followed by disability insurance at 43%, and then deferred compensation at 28%. So a large portion of that is being handled with both life insurance and deferred compensation options.
What I like about that is you have such a depth of expertise around business planning, and it's been proven again that it isn't just one size fits all. You really have the ability to listen with our advisor to the needs of that business owner and create a solution that is unique for them. Another solution that I was on the survey, I was maybe in the top 4, something like that. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but was business succession planning. Maybe you could walk through what you found about business succession planning in your survey.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Number 4, priorities. So formal agreements are important, right? They help ensure that everyone is on the same page, and it helps when time for transition takes place that there is an agreement in place. So just like we do the valuation services, we also have our buy sell reviews to take a look at these agreements. And as we mentioned earlier, more than 6 in 10 own a family business. They still need a plan, right? They still need a buy sell agreement or some type of partnership agreement, whatever it may be, that drafts out that succession plan. So the most popular succession strategy is to sell or gift to family members, and that's 48%. So it's almost half, right? So how can we help there? We consider different funding vehicles like savings, or in this case, life insurance, to help kind of exercise that plan. Identify sources for retirement income. So we have this great report called the Business Owner Retirement Analysis. At the end of the day, it's a very detailed report, but it does a great job of illustrating, hey, look, here's your benefits, your qualified plans, but you make X dollar amount above and beyond that. So here's the gap. And we illustrate that gap accordingly and show these business owners how we can help, quote unquote, fill that gap with an insurance solution.
Yeah, just another level of analysis that you're able to provide. Corey, you've teased out the Connolly decision a few times as we've been going along today. I think it's important that maybe you just spend a moment talking about the recent court decision that really affects entity purchase buy sell agreements. Do you mind just taking a moment and speaking to that?
You bet. Yeah. So I have been teasing that. And I say that because this was just finalized here not too long ago. And quite frankly, this has been going on for over 10 years. A quick summary of kind of what took place was there were 2 brothers who owned a business together. One of them passed away unexpectedly. They had a buy-sell agreement. They had life insurance in place. Within that buy-sell agreement, it was noted, though, that there needed to be some type of certificate or valuation done annually. Unfortunately, that never took place until after litigation began. They also had an entity owned buy-sell life insurance in place. A way that could have been structured differently may have been a cross purchase, right? Because it was just 2 brothers. But at the end of the day, the IRS deemed that life insurance was additional assets into the company, creating over $1 million in the tax liability. So this goes back to my opening remarks of our business market administration team. You were probably thinking, why do I need to know if it's an entity buy sell, if it's a cross purchase buy sell, what type of deferred compensation piece it is? This is exactly why, because now our business market administration team can actually pull all of the entity owned buy sell cases that you may have on the books. And we're not saying that everyone needs to be revisited or redocumented, but it's a great time to take a deeper look at that, have a conversation with your attorney, and also go and create and complete a buy sell review with our attorneys here at Principal. So a very unfortunate situation, but it's something that's been brought top of mind and why succession planning is important, but not just that, and not just having a buy sell plan or buy sell agreement. It's making sure that it's reviewed annually and making sure that it's up to date and current.
Thank you for taking time to talk a little bit more about the Connolly decision. And I think a key thing for everyone watching, everyone listening, even your peers that you talk to later, if you're working with business owners, I think it's incumbent on every single advisor. Really, your fiduciary responsibility is to sit down with them and make sure they understand that the buy sell that they have put in place is set up how they want it and is going to accomplish what they expect. And the great news is having a partner like Principal with DBS, they can bring you that expertise to do that checkup. So Corey, thanks again for touching on that. That was excellent. I want to move a little bit further into other areas of business planning. I mean, look, you have expertise across the gamut for business planning. And I want to focus in on legacy and estate planning, because really, if things are funded properly, these agreements can really ensure that all the assets, both personal, business, what have you, are going to be there to help meet lifetime objectives. Can you speak just a moment to that, Corey?
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. So within the survey, it was noted that wills remain the most common strategy for business owners. With that said, though, I would argue that the buy-sell agreement is the will of the business. So why not make sure that's not just completed, up to date, and current, right? Not just that, but family trusts, family limited partnerships, ILETs, or irrevocable life insurance trusts, they're at a record high for the 10 times the survey has been done in 2008. So as you're making sure that your will is up to date, also do that with your buy-sell agreement on an annual basis to make sure that everything is reflected accordingly. Because as provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, that tax provision is sunsetting here end of 2025. So we don't exactly maybe know what those numbers are going to look like. It could be half of the amount it is today. So it could go back to the 12 million for a couple, 7 million for an individual basis. So if estate tax is going to be an issue, let's start having those conversations now. Let's do a buy-sell review. Let's maybe lock in a term insurance now, right, for insurability purposes. And then once we know those estate tax numbers, right, now we can convert all or a portion of that into some type of survivorship product for estate tax purposes, and we can help with that with our planning services.
A few weeks ago, myself, some of the members of our team here at DBS, including our CEO and others, went to Washington, D.C., and we started sitting down with congressional leaders, as we do every year, to better understand what's happening on the legislative front. And in one of my future podcasts and webcasts, we'll go deeper into what we learned. But the one thing I will share with you is this, that it is clear that in 2025, that is going to be a year of tremendous tax reform. And that tax reform is really daunting the way it sits right now. And nobody has a crystal ball. It doesn't matter who we speak to, either on the Hill or at a carrier or here at DBS. Nobody has a crystal ball. I believe what we all think is to be true is that there will be change in 25 or 26. And when that happens, you and your business owners, clients need to be prepared. So I love what you just said, Corey. I think checking in on plans annually, making sure that they reflect exactly the way they want their assets to be distributed, and then taking into account the what ifs so that your clients aren't left in a spot where, look, they're caught flat-footed because all of a sudden changes happen. So stay close. We will do our best to keep you up to date as things change. But I'm glad you brought that up, Corey. That is going to be big. So I know you spend time with business owners addressing concerns. Talk a little bit about what you think the biggest thing is that keeps business owners from really planning for the financial health of their business.
Yeah, I think it's one word, and that's capital or budget, right?
Right.
Every business owner wants to retain as much profits as they can. And not just that, though, they're busy. We're all busy.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to have this conversation with their financial planners. So we learned from the business owners like you, right? We're tight on time. We're always on the go. But business and financial planning isn't always at the top of their daily to-do list, right? It's going to be what their business is. So just like them, I'm sure you can relate to that from an on-the-go perspective. But along with the budget, it's a lack of financial professional as a barrier is at a record high. So you don't have to be an expert in all of these solutions. You just need to get that conversation started. You need to build that relationship with the business owner. You've got a full team at DBS, at Principal, to help navigate those insurance waters, if you will, once you get that foot in the door. So whether that's having the conversation about the buy-sell agreement or doing evaluation with them, that can then lead to different opportunities for these key employees, or for these business owners, excuse me. And yes, they are busy, but they still want to have these conversations with you. And going back to the budget conversation. I think it's just a little bit of they don't know what they don't know. And that's the business owner from a budget standpoint. So sometimes they think these plans have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars when in all reality, we can tailor these however they see best fit from both a budget perspective as well as a retention standpoint.
That's the key. The business owners are looking to you, those of you joining us today. They're looking to you for your expertise. Many of my dearest friends are advisors and planners. And when I talk to them about how much work they do in the business marketplace, now it varies. But the thing that stops people many times working in the business marketplace is their reluctance to look like they don't know everything. Their reluctance to jeopardize a multi-year relationship or a brand new relationship that they're doing personal planning for. And I think what sets Principal apart, what frankly sets DBS apart, is the ability to help you as an advisor engage with a business owner and understand the opportunities. Business owners are, I would agree, eager and interested in these strategies. They want to help their businesses. And we want to help really empower you as the advisor to have the confidence to have that conversation. Anything you want to add there, Corey?
Yeah, no, I maybe I've just thought that I kind of just assumed that client relationship is number one, but from the study, right, again, taken from these business owners, right, client relationship is number one. They want to build a relationship with you. They want to have these quote unquote tough conversations. So again, DBS is here to support you. Principal is here to support you. You do not need to know every single detail that comes with these plans. You just need to know that the business owners have a problem and we can help solve for that problem. So being that financial professional for that business owner, someone to go to, is huge, because a lot of times these business owners have multiple advisors for multiple solutions. So why not be that one-stop shop, if you will, to help start these conversations and then bring on your team at DBS, bring on your team at Principal to help dive deeper into these quote unquote problems and let us help you provide a solution for them.
Absolutely. And well, Corey, you and I, within the last couple of days, I brought Corey and his team in to visit with one of our very most important accounts, advisor relationships. And I knew enough to know that this advisor had a client who had a problem. And that was the extent of what I knew. And then what we knew is that if we brought Principal to the table, they could help have that dialogue. And what I will tell you, and I didn't tell Corey I was going to say this on this call, but what I will tell you is they weren't salesy. They weren't trying to pitch an idea. They were utmost professionals in seeking to understand how they could be of help, how they could be of service, and truly trying to understand what exactly the end customer needed and wanted. And that just raises the level of integrity and professionalism to a whole different level. So feel confident bringing DBS and then subsequently we bring in Principal to help you with that conversation. Corey, you've spoken a couple times about an admin. You've got expertise, and the admin sets Principal apart. I think it's important that I know we could spend a whole hour on this, but just briefly talk about what it means when you say Principal provides some administrative support.
Absolutely. So I've gone this entire call without using corporate buzzwords, but I'm going to use one now, and that's consultative approach. That really is what we offer here at Principal. Going back to, again, our advanced solutions team, our during the sell, if you will, conversations. But to your point, Kurt, it's that administration services. It's that business market administration team. So it's not an 800 number that you're waiting on hold with. It's a dedicated person, a dedicated administrator that you have access to for all of these plans. Again, whether it's a buy-sell related case where the Conley case kind of garnered some traction for your business owners, or it's a deferred compensation case, that administrator is there to assist with any updates that are made. But not just that, this information is delineated on a screen for you and the client, just like you go out there and view a 401k, right? So if you've got a deferred compensation case, for example, you can see how much money has gotten into the policy, how much cash value is there, and if it's on pace to quote unquote fund that liability. But it doesn't stop there, right? That team then monitors those plans to make sure they're on pace. And going back to the Connolly decision, we can actually then pull, like I mentioned earlier, any of the entity owned buy sell cases that are on the books for you as the advisor. And that way you can take that back to your clients and think, hey, look, here's a list of some entity owned buy sells. Let's have a deeper conversation with the attorneys and make sure that this still is the most efficient solution for you as the business owner. And if not, let's work with our team at DBS and Principal to see if there's a better solution, whether that's a cross purchase plan or some type of business continuation general partnership built for them. So I just can't stress it enough. That administration is really a big deal and goes a long way in building, again, that relationship for you and the business owner.
Well said. As I said early on, administration doesn't become an issue until it's an issue. And the thing that I love about the fact is an advisor comes to us, they put a case in place, and then Principal really picks up the ball and they're there. And you're going to be there for the future whenever the future need arises. So that it's very, very good. Corey, I'm going to give you 2 seconds here just to kind of catch your breath. And I just want to remind people of a few things. The topics we covered today were potentially daunting, big. Don't forget, our number one goal is to make doing business easier for you every step of the way. We have resources here at TBS. Terry Getman, our case who runs Advanced Markets, case design team. Here's a listing of all of our case designers that are ready to help you. Underwriting, led by our chief underwriter, Lori Walker, etc. Our experts in the field, our regional sales directors, they are all here, ready and willing, able to help you with your business cases. Truly, we're here to help and make you look like the expert that you truly are by bringing resources like Principal together. All right, let's go back to our guest. Corey, any final words?
Took the words right out of my mouth. It's a relationship business. So we want to help you. Again, we can't create and dive deeper into those relationships with you and your business owners. That's on you. But what you can do then is lean on DBS, lean on Principal to dive deeper into those conversations. Again, we're trying to solve for a problem that the business owner has. Let us be there with you every step of the way, from literally the start of the conversation, not just to the finish of the solution, but after sale solution, right? From a business marketing administration standpoint. So here's that last buzzword, consultative approach. Again, we want to be there to help you every step along the way.
That's perfect. Corey, thank you so much for joining us today. Loved having you on. Hope we can have you again another time real soon. For all of you out there, thank you again for joining us for another edition of Insurance Insight. Until next time, take care, be well, and stay safe, everybody.